Okay, so I am about to go for a run and I'm looking outside and it looks horrendous. But I thought I would tell you guys about why I'm running, what races I'm doing soon and who I am running for. So watch the video. We're going to have random snapshots of it being cold and wet and possibly me being covered in mud. I'm going to try to not fall in the canal. I make no promises. My phone might get very broken. But when I say horrendous outside, let's have a look. Disgusting. Puddles, rain, cold, windy, wet. See you soon. I've just done 2.5 miles and it's just about shaded enough that you might be able to hear me over the wind. So the first charity I want to tell you about is Jamie's Farm. They are a charity that have 4 farms across the country and a satellite urban farm thing in London. So their farms are in Hereford, Monmouth, Bath and Lewis, and they take groups of school children and a few of their teachers away for a week, so Monday to Friday, and teach the kids all about what it's like to work on a farm. During this time they also go on walks around the countryside. If you know me, you know I like walking and the countryside, so I see that as a good thing. And they have one-to-one therapy sessions as well as group sessions that they probably don't know are group therapy sessions. It's a really cool place. They don't let the kids get away with not doing anything. They don't let the kids take anything with them that's like sugary food, sugary drinks, any electronics, so they are phoneless for the entire week, which is an idea that usually petrifies them. Yeah, they do some really cool stuff, and there are other bits I'm going to talk about a little bit later in this video about the stuff that I've seen them doing with some of the young people I've worked with. But just like any charity, they require funding to operate. So yeah, that is them in a very brief snapshot. I'm not sure if you're quite getting how wet it is, but I'd like to point out that my toes are wet, in between my fingers is wet, my leggings have stuck to my knees, that's not normal, and yeah, it's a bit damp. It's only going to get worse when I get onto the canal. Yay! And this is my current view. It's lovely because it's not next to the A5, which is where I just was, with big lorries going past. So keep watching to hear about Warwickshire Search and Rescue, which is the other charity that I'm running for. So the other charity I want to talk to you about is Warwickshire Search and Rescue. They are a load and rescue team. There are 35 load and rescue teams across England, Wales and Northern Ireland. And they exist to support the police in high-risk, vulnerable, missing people searches. So people that fall into that category are children, are people with dementia and people that are despondent or suicidal. It's basically like playing hide and seek, but with people's lives at risk, to put it lightly. The Overy Load and Rescue Team is a charity. So Warwickshire Search and Rescue is like none other in that way. They exist purely to support the police, and that is surprisingly expensive when it comes to insurance and having the right protective equipment, and being able to do things like get the control van to the searches. That costs petrol money, all of the upkeep of all of that, and a surprisingly large number of people go missing every single year in Warwickshire. It's not like mountain rescue in that we don't go looking for people that are lost, but people that don't realise that they're missing or don't want to be found. So it changes it slightly. And no, we don't search up mountains. And I'm currently walking across the railway line. Look at that for a nice pretty bridge. All of that graffiti. I'm still wet. I have puddles in my shoes. It's disgusting. So February half term 2017, my housemate at the time got a dog. That dog was half husky. That husky really likes running. So every now and then I decided to start taking her out for a little run. And by run I mean she would kind of jog and I would sprint and nearly pass out after about a kilometre because she's really fast because she's a husky. So I did a little bit of running, but not a lot, and wouldn't really have called myself a runner. April 2017, my friend called Aidan died by suicide, which, by the way, is a really rubbish way to die. Don't do that. And while talking to a friend about that, she convinced me to go to parkrun in Leamington. So I did. That first parkrun took 58 minutes for various reasons, including the fact that I had to do first aid on somebody's face. Ooh, echo. The following Monday from the parkrun was when the ballot to the London Marathon opened. And I realised that being somebody who's kind of prone to depression and various other bits, that with Aidan dying I was going to struggle, and I was already struggling at that point with it being less than a week on. So I entered the London Marathon ballot, which was brave or foolish, I'm still not quite sure which. And that was mainly to give me something to do, a plan to keep going forward for, etc. Rewind a little bit. When I was at university, I was told by my doctor that I was less flexible than an average person should be, and that I should never run a marathon. I really ignore that little fact. And so I entered a marathon, realised that I needed to do some training for it, and I wouldn't find out until the October whether or not I'd got a place. So I entered the Birmingham Half Marathon, and started training for that, but because of the aforementioned depression and panic attacks and flashbacks and all of that sort of stuff, I didn't really train as hard as I should have, to put it mildly. So when it came to actually running the half marathon, I hated it. I didn't enjoy it. I managed to do the last 3 miles running with a stranger, as you do, talking about the possibility of alcohol at the finish line. Because, you know, you do what you can to get through these things. I then found out I hadn't got into the London Marathon. And I was kind of okay with that, having just done a half and hated it. Side note, this is how wet it is. I've given up trying to go, walk around the puddles, and my feet are like ice. And I'm 6 miles into this run. Anyway, so I wasn't too upset about not getting into the London Marathon, but then when it came round to that time of year and loads of my friends had done London or Brighton or various other ones, Manchester, I realised that actually I really did want to do a marathon. So kind of spur of the moment, kind of not. I didn't sign up for London because I hadn't got in the year before, and, you know, effort. So I signed up for a marathon that I knew I did get a place in. So I signed up to Brighton, which was going to be in a year's time at the point of signing up, and decided that meant I had loads of time to train and get fit and do it properly, and that has clearly not happened. We would ignore that fact. So I signed up for Brighton Marathon instead. Partly because I signed up to do Birmingham as a training for a full marathon, and if I don't do a full marathon, then what was the point in doing the half marathon, other than pain and misery and expenses. So it's worth saying that I have paid fully for a place in Brighton, and marathons are not cheap to enter, but it means any money that I raise for Search and Rescue, which is the marathon charity. Like, I've not got a subsidised place or anything, so all of that money's going straight to them, and I've already paid 70 quid for it. Joy. All of the marathon plans say that you should do a half marathon as training to it, like between 3 weeks and a month beforehand. And I had half planned to enter the Coventry half because it's local and easy, as in close to where I am and easy to get to. But then I saw on the Jamie's Farm Facebook page that they still had some charity places for the Bath Half Marathon, which is the same time of year. I'm running for a charity that actually I really believe in, and I generally try to not raise too much money for doing stuff that is about me and for me. But actually Jamie's Farm is a really, really good charity, so I thought I'd go for it. So that's vaguely me and my running. I also signed up to run 1,000 miles, which this buff is all about, in 2019, and I'm currently on 104 plus whatever I've done today. And I should be on like 200 something by now, but we're not panicking about that, but it'll be fine. That's just a side note of things I'm doing with my life. So I want to talk to you about why I'm raising money for Search and Rescue. Most of you will know that I am part of Warwickshire Search and Rescue, so I'm a volunteer with the team. I've been doing it for 3 years, 1 year as a trainee and 2 years as an operational member. Obviously there are lots of very good reasons as to why we exist, and therefore why we need money to continue to exist, with the obvious main aim of trying to save people's lives. At the end of the day, we want the right kit to be able to deploy quickly and efficiently and safely, to be able to hopefully find the missing people or missing person alive. The longer it takes us to be deployed, the longer it takes us to be able to find all of the right kit, the less chance there is of that happening, on both the finding and on them being alive. You can probably see why all of that's good and why we therefore need money to keep going. The money goes towards things like the petrol for the vans, so the control van to be able to run the search, to make sure that we're doing a coordinated effort. It goes towards making sure that all the members have the correct PPE, so coats, all of the right clothing, things like making sure we've got waterproof notebooks. It's the really little things that make a difference. So the big stuff we do, we tend to get grants for, but we still need loads of money for all the little day-to-day things, the cost of pens, that sort of thing. As volunteers, we donate a lot of our own stuff. We donate a lot of our time, but also like petrol to get to training, petrol to get to the searches. The furthest searches I've gone to are Shrewsbury, Hitchin, Herefordshire and Oxford. To give you an idea of how far in each direction I've gone. But on a more personal note, because it's obvious as to why we need money, but why I've chosen Search and Rescue is if you think back to the story I was saying about the friend who got me into parkrun, and that friend is somebody from the team. Like all of the people that were on the team are friends. We're kind of like a giant family in a quite cool, quite weird way. One of the people I was speaking to the most after Aidan died was somebody from the team. Ooh, it's a bit slippy. It's mud. It is very muddy. So on the night after the day of the funeral, it was a 5 and 2, which is 5 miles in 2 hours, as a fitness walk as part of the team. And whenever, I'd get chatting to somebody and they'd be like, oh, hey, how are you? What have you been up to? And I don't tend to give the really generic answers of "I'm fine, thanks, how are you?" especially when really rubbish stuff is happening in my life. So yeah, I chatted to a few of the members about my friend's death and the funeral, and how it was all weird because the only person that I knew at the funeral was in the coffin. And like the team have been there quite a lot, often unknowingly, sometimes with random trips to the beach. I live almost the furthest away from the beach as you can in England, so that's always fun. I'm just going to navigate this. There's a lot of mud. Ooh. Nailed it. Ooh, and then nearly fell over. But yeah, so part of the reason why I'm raising money for search and rescue is that it's family. It's personal for me, rather than just this is a group of people who do a good thing. Also, it's a group of people who do a good thing, so you should donate to them. Okay, so I've done 12.5 miles, and I'm knackered, and my knee hurts, and my feet are wet. It's been a theme. Anyway, Jamie's Farm, why have I chosen to raise money for them? So there is an element of the half marathon that they do, or that they have charity places for, is the right time of year for the full marathon. It fits into our training plan quite nicely. But more than that, when I worked at Youth 180, we supported quite a few trips of school kids down to down to the farm in Hereford, and I never went on the trips, but I saw the kids leading up to it, and I saw them when they came back, and saw the difference that they were making, or the difference that the farm was having on them. The farm produces a video at the end of the trip, and we give it to all of the young people, and it's things like videos of memories from the trip, but also a snapshot of each of them saying something like, I am going to remember that when I drink water I am less grouchy, or something like that in more youth slang terms. So it gives them a tangible memory, and kind of a pledge to themselves. So they also get a certificate, and the farm produces 2 bits of paper. One bit that goes to all members of staff, that kind of is words that the young person wants the teachers to know, so they're aware that this happens. So it'll be things like the young person saying that they would appreciate it if the teacher gives them 5 minutes to cool down when they get angry, and gives them a specific task to do rather than just tell them to chill out. Things like that are really practical, useful things. The other bit of paper is that goes to like the pastoral team, so those that will be working more closely with young people on return to school, and it will be more observations from the farm staff as to how the young people were while they're away, and things that the school could do that might make them engage better with school. So they're really, really useful bits. But like with search and rescue, there are multiple reasons as to why I've chosen to raise money for them. So the practical work is really good and really helpful, and you see a difference. But then there's always that personal side of the story. So the personal side of why I'm raising money for Jamie's Farm is kind of the opposite to search and rescue. So with search and rescue, when I found out about Aidan, there's lots of people around, lots of people to talk to. The week I found out that Aidan had passed away was the same. I need to repeat this. The week I found out he'd passed away was the same time that the school had done a Jamie's Farm trip, which meant my boss wasn't around, and it meant that the two closest members of staff at the school that I had that I would go and talk to weren't around, and it made the experience really isolating in a completely not their fault way. And then the day after the funeral, the Hereford Farm were having an open day, and they'd asked our young people to be young people that were kind of showing everybody around, showing them what they do when they're there, and giving little talks about their time at the farm. So it went down to that the day after the funeral, which was a month after he passed away. So all of the thoughts and feelings that I kind of buried for the last month were back, and reminding me that at the time that I needed friends around most was the time that they weren't around. Again, not their fault, but shit happens. Probably shouldn't say that. So raising the money for Jamie's Farm to kind of put those feelings behind me, I guess.